Hello, everyone, and welcome to On Air. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Ariana.
And today we are talking about the day we walked away from the corporate world and into the wild west of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
We're just doing something different than the norm.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Something to... Clearly this is no planning involved. Doing something different than what we were kind of told and what we grew up to know, what was like the path of being successful.
Yeah.
So
essentially this podcast is just aimed to be a real world conversation about what we're going through, entrepreneurship, business,
our journey, our ups and our downs and our learning lessons, and
just a way for us to organize our thoughts and just have a conversation and bring you guys in so you can see what our lives are like.
What the heck we're doing.
Anyways, okay. So it's supposed to be more of a conversation.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Not a presentation.
It's not.
It's really challenging.
I wasn't prepared for a presentation.
Okay, good. Neither. Okay. But it's hard not to when this camera is just staring at me.
I know. Like, stop giving me eye contact.
Okay, so I'll just shift this way slightly.
You're looking at me weird. Okay.
Okay, so the day we walked away.
What was the first thing? What was our breaking point?
Yeah. Well, before we do that, maybe just do like a little smidge background of what you're doing.
Yeah. Okay, so I was the controller for a manufacturing plant. We were in the automotive industry, so we built like car parts for basically all of the main like auto manufacturers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had a team working under me of like finance and accounting and IT. And
you loved it.
Well, I loved it. So I think on paper, I thought I was going to love it because when you're going through school, you kind of like have this idea of what you think the goal position is.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why that's so drilled into your brain. It's like the title, which like, I don't know. I don't even care about the title, but I thought that like once I achieved this like senior management role, it was all just gonna click into place and I would feel fulfilled and successful and like everything would just be great in the world.
Just be like a corporate girly.
Just like, yeah. And then I got there and I was like, did I get bamboozled? Like this is not the missing piece, I'll tell you that. So anyways, that's a bit about my background. We can talk about what drove me to left maybe or leave after. Or do you want me to
go on?
Okay, well,
I think it's like supposed to be like a conversation.
Yeah.
So those are like good idea points, but whatever.
What? Yeah. I don't need to tell you.
You can pretend you're telling me.
Well, we can just talk about my breaking point.
Sure.
Okay.
I'd love to hear it. Let's hear about when you broke down.
When I broke down.
I'm just kidding.
Well, I feel like I hung on for way longer than I should have, which I think that like happens a lot in toxic relationships. I don't know. But I think it was really a wake-up call when one day I just like all of a sudden I was working at home and I was like, I can't breathe. And I was like, my heart is racing. Like, I feel like I'm having so obviously I was having a panic attack.
Yeah.
Which I've never had a panic attack before. Like, I don't struggle with anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was not, like, the norm for me.
Yeah.
And I just remember, like, going out to the living room and, like, going down on the carpet on all fours, just, like, trying to breathe.
Oh my God.
I was like, I can't breathe. Like, I actually, like, my heart.
You think you're going to die? No.
I didn't think I was going to die, but I was, like, I didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, my God. I can't breathe, like my heart, like it was a really weird experience. I mean, anyone who's had a panic attack probably has had something similar. And I was like, you know what? I don't really think that's like super normal. And then I don't know if this happened just before or just after, but I was in the office and like I had my own office. The door was closed. I don't know. But I was working away and then all of a sudden, like the left side of my body just kind of went like pins and needles.
Oh my God.
And then it went numb. And then I started really freaking out because I'm like, am I having a stroke? Am I having a heart attack? Like, what's happening? Like, I don't know what's going on, but like, I can't feel like the left side of my body. Like, everything is numb. Like,
Isn't
I
the
don't know
left
what to
side the
do.
bad side?
I don't know, probably.
Is that the heart attack side? I don't know. I actually know nothing about medical things.
I don't know either. All I know is that I was terrified and I was like calling.
Like, if I die in this office, I'll kill myself.
I'm like, if this job kills me, I'm going to be so pissed.
Like, at least kill me before month end.
Yeah. Oh.
So I don't have to
Well,
endure it.
It was probably leading up to month end. Let's be real. That was not like, those were not pleasant times.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, so 12 times a year, you just have like the worst week of your life.
Yeah.
That's a lot of time.
It was like so toxic. Anyways. So I'm like, well, the left side of my body is going numb. Yeah. Like, I have had my first panic attack in my life. This is obviously like anxiety or stress. Like,
did you right away connect it to your work?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was like, I'm like panicking so much that like, well, I think at the time I thought like the high amounts of cortisol and stress and all that was actually leading to like physical illnesses.
Okay.
Which it will.
Yeah.
Like long term. And then I started Well, yeah. And then like all these things were happening and I'm like, I'm going to get cancer. This job is going to make me terminally ill.
Yeah.
Like, that's the level of stress. And then
it's not sustainable.
No. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I feel trapped. I feel like I don't even have enough time in the day to like explore other options. And then also I was weirdly like, well, I feel like any job that's like the same type of job is going to be the same thing. So then I was like, what have I done with my whole life? I've literally worked so hard. I've gone to university. I've gotten like a professional designation. Like, I've spent like how many years and how much money getting this designation to like get to this spot. And now I'm here. And like, this is what it is.
The perfect job. Well,
yeah, to have like the job.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm making good money. Like, I should like, yeah. So then I was like, well, I can't get another controller job because it's just going to be the same thing, different setting. So then I was really panicking. And then Josh, my boyfriend, fiance now, he was like, what are you doing? He's like, stop. Like, no job is worth it.
I'm being successful, God damn it.
He's like, stop. No job is worth this. Like, cut the cord. It's not that important. It's a job.
But it's weird when you're in it, that doesn't even register, really. Like, it does.
No.
But like, it weirdly feels like it's the most important thing ever. Like, month end probably felt like the beginning and end of the whole entire world.
Well, yeah. It literally felt like it for sure. Because there's all this pressure. And like, when you're working for like however many hours a day, like, I think during month end, I would literally wake up at 5 and I would start working at 6. And I think I would work until like midnight, sometimes later. And that was like just to like get enough done to like meet the deadline.
Yeah. Like, not above and beyond.
But that's like, of course you feel like that's your whole world because it's your whole waking hours. Like, how can you not feel like it's your whole world?
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, I was like, okay, this is, and then, well, I think something I've done a lot of work on myself. I think at the time when I was thinking about quitting, I was like, I'm a failure. I wasn't cut out. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't diligent enough. Like, everyone's going to hate me. Everyone's going to think I'm a piece of shit. My family won't love me. My boyfriend's going to break up with me. I am worthless without this job. Don't think that now. And at the time, like, you know that it's not real.
Yeah.
Like, you know that's not true. But this little voice in your head is like,
yeah,
you're a failure.
Yeah. 100%.
So that was like a huge thing to get over.
Yeah.
Which I feel like you had a similar.
Yeah, definitely similar. So I worked in like a public practice accounting firm where I got my like designation, my CPA designation. And similar thing, like what you're saying, where it's like your whole existence is weirdly in this place. I think because where I was working, it's essentially everyone's a CPA or working to get a CPA. Like, everyone's on a different journey of level of CPA-ness. And then after that, you're trying to be like a partner at the firm. And that's like this, like,
The carrot.
it's like, not only is it the carrot, but it's like the collective goal of everyone around you every day.
Yeah. It's a cult. We could just say it.
Well, I don't know about that. But,
Well, okay.
but
For legal purposes, it's not a cult.
It's weird when you're surrounded by like this one opinion. It like so inherently becomes also kind of your opinion or goal. And then it's really hard to be like, do I actually want that or do I not? Because you're just like inundated with like, it's not even a question. Everyone's just like,
Yeah.
this is the goal or this is what we're doing. And kind of same thing. Like I remember when I was working there, like this was before, but like when people would quit or leave or be like, oh, I'm not going to do this. Like I would judge them. Like,
Yeah, you'd be
it's
like,
horrible.
oh, they weren't cut out.
Yeah. Like I would be like, oh, they're not tough enough, strong enough, work hard enough, smart enough, all those things. Like I was doing that to them. So it's like when I then was like, oh, I hate this and I want to leave, it was like, of course, everyone's going to think that about me. And maybe they do, maybe they don't. And I don't know why I felt the need to be like, I think it was for my own like reassurance. I'm like, oh, I'm here because I'm tough and they left because they're not. Like it's like this weird game you have to play with yourself to like stay and like keep pushing.
It's literally like a toxic relationship.
Yeah, it kind of is, for sure. And I'm sure there are people who are like more cut out for that type of world, but it is interesting because there were certain people that made it very clear that they really struggled with the like corporate environment, the grind, the crazy hours, the super high pressure, like the really stressful deadlines and pressure from like manage higher up people. Oh no, little mic.
Sorry.
Fix myself. I'll have to get
know if it would be gone.
maybe the handheld mics. Maybe I could do this.
We don't want to
From the higher up people. Sorry, yeah, people who seem like they really were fine at coping with it. But then like going back, it's really interesting to like talk to some of them, and like a few of them are like, oh, I had to go on a 6-month stress leave. And those are the people that I was like, you seemed like you were handling it so well, but they just like internalize it. Whereas I'm not like that. Like I can't do that. And then the people who I kind of would like share that with and would share it with me, like it was just so clear they weren't handling it either. But then I realized like we're kind of the same personality. So
it's just you're like wearing it on the outside or you're hiding it on the inside. I was definitely more the hiding it on the inside. Like still to this day, that employer does not know that I was struggling.
Yeah. Well, just kidding. Shoot. But it could be part of why like maybe your body like reacting is.
Yeah, my body was like,
hello?
Are you going to listen to me?
Yeah.
Are you going to listen? Otherwise, I'm going to force you to listen.
Yeah.
But.
And I kind of get why. Well, I don't get why. But you see how it becomes that kind of environment. Like there's so much pressure at so many different levels of people. Mm-hmm. And it just works its way down to you. And then it's just like.
Yeah.
It just feels like so much. And it is like, I feel like when I was there, I thought like as you rose in the ranks, the pressure would decrease. But it doesn't do that. And I don't know why you'd think that. Or you're like, oh, once I'm partner, it'll just be like.
And you're just like
I'm just
in
like
your
in
office,
easy,
and people
crazy
are
job.
just doing their things, and you're just going to golf, and you're just like, whatever.
Yeah, but it's not.
No.
They're still working just as many hours, if not more. They have way more pressure on them. They have all the legality on them, like, or the liability if anything goes wrong. It's just weird how you're like, oh, as soon as I get this like certain level.
Yeah. It'll make me happy. Yeah. Or like it will click or whatever.
Yeah. And even partners, then they have the pressure of like bringing in enough revenue, and like they still have people like, at least at the firm I was at, there was like partners, but then there's like upper man, like there's people above them, and then there's a whole head office. Like it's not like they're like,
they're still
get fired
to people.
Oh yeah.
And their meetings with head office or whatever, like they have to
Yeah. So I think just got to a point where I was like, where am I trying to go with this? I don't like any of it. So
yeah,
time to go.
Did you break your foot before or after that?
After.
Okay.
Yeah. That was, I kind of had not like going numb or having a panic attack, but I was just having like literal, I think like anxiety paralysis before I left.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
I was just sitting. I think there was probably 2 full months. Well, I don't know, maybe not quite. But where I would just felt like all I did was sit and stare at my computer, make lists of all the shit I needed to do, try to start something, do nothing.
Yeah.
Start something else, do nothing. Start something else, do nothing. All day. And then at night, just like wake up in a cold sweat,
Yeah.
which is like a not normal thing for me either.
Yeah, I feel like I totally had that anxiety paralysis for a little bit before too. You like open your laptop and you're like, there's so much to do. And then like,
yeah,
you can't respond to an email.
No.
It's like, that's actually
not good.
a red flag. Like, that's not normal.
Yeah. And when I think about too, where I was working, like the level of people that had to go on like 6-month stress leaves.
Yeah.
I'm like, wouldn't it just be better to like dial, like you don't have to dial it back a ton, just dial back like a smidge the pressure. Like how much are you losing when someone has to leave for 6 months, like a senior manager?
And it's so like normalized.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, another one. Like when you have an employment or employer that like constantly has employees going off on stress leave, like that's not normal.
Yeah. I know of 5 people who went on stress leave while I was there that are like, that I was close enough with for them to tell me that themselves.
Yeah.
Let alone all the other people that worked there that would just probably not tell me.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But do you think the people who didn't go off on stress leave
just left? Yeah, I did.
Okay, well that, but also the people who like, you're like, oh, why don't we just like tone down the pressure a little bit? Do you think those people even are aware that it's like too much pressure? Or do you think it's just like, they're so in it and they're so like, they've drank the Kool-Aid so much that they're like, this is the job, it's hardcore, like this is it. Like, or do you think they're like, maybe this is too much pressure, maybe this is unhealthy?
I think it is shifting potentially, where like people are kind of understanding a little bit better like how stress can affect you.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think, at least where I worked and probably your job too, it's like, it's such a massive company with so many levels of people, hierarchy, management, red tape, whatever, rules. Like these systems have been in place for so long that I think even like I had a couple experiences too where it was like the partner I was working for, like I genuinely believe they had my best interest and they truly did want me to succeed, liked me, whatever. And they were trying to do what worked. But at the end of the day, it wasn't in their control to do certain things. Like it was someone in Toronto making a decision. And as much as they probably wish that wasn't it, like they had no control.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And it takes years to shift a culture anyways. Even when everyone's like, yeah, it still takes a really long time to like actually see that in the workplace.
Especially too when the people there are a product of like all the partners are a product of that culture for the last 40 years, you know? So it's like maybe when they retire and start getting new, fresh people, maybe, but I think it's probably really challenging for them. And then there is still this weird thing of like, well, I had to put in my dues. Like it sucked for me. I worked through it so I could get partner. And now it's my turn to like, it's my turn now that I have this label to reap the benefits from these people below me. Yeah. It's kind of which is kind of a weird way of looking at it. Because in my opinion, I think people could do way better work, provide way better services, all that stuff if they weren't in this like fight or flight feeling. Because I'm going to be honest, I didn't think about a client fucking once when I was there. No. I thought about them to the extent that I wouldn't get in trouble for doing like, I would do enough for them to
survival mode.
Yeah. Yeah. But I wasn't like, oh, I wonder how Susie's business is. I was like, I don't give a fuck. Did she send me the right information so I can do my job?
Also, are you even paid to give a fuck? Not really.
Well, I wasn't paid very much. That's
another issue.
Like, at least at your job, you were making good money. I was like, in hindsight, I'm like, how did I think I should stay there? Not only did I hate it, but I made no money.
That's actually shocking.
I know. That's why they have to have Kool-Aid or else you leave.
Okay, we don't need to get into it, but the Kool-Aid surrounding public practice is actually mind-boggling to me.
Well, you don't get it.
I was
spoken like someone who's never drank it.
Yeah, I'm just fucking God. But like the people who are like, oh, we're so much better. I'm like, I graduating my undergrad before I even had my CPA was making more than you guys after like 5 years. So like, how is it? Explain.
Well, we're accountants. We're not good at math.
Duh.
No.
If you're not a Big Four.
Well, that's why the carrot partner thing, I think, is such a thing.
Yeah.
Because they're like,
that's when you make really good money.
Yeah. And like, if you can commit 10 years or 12 years or 15 years
in your mental health and your family and your safety,
like you can make sick money. And you probably can make more than, well, I don't know, because your company was massive. They probably had people in there making so much money.
Oh, they had, I mean, the company is like literally like multiple billion. So like, you have people making a lot more than probably a partner. But it's like still hard to get there. But we'll cut that out.
Cut that out. At whatever mark we're at.
A partner.
Yeah. We'll just go beep.
Yeah.
I mean, people can
No, we can just cut
People
it.
can figure it out. But yeah, it is wild. Okay, what are these other
What's
questions?
the next thing? I feel like we covered
I know we did quite a bit on it,
random
but
stuff.
okay. How did you feel right before you quit? What was the first move after? What gave you the guts to leap? Any funny or wild details from the day, like you quit? Okay, so quitting. Walk me through that actually happening. Being like, I quit.
Well, I mean, we spoke about the feelings like I was a failure and that everyone around me would leave me and not love me anymore if I didn't have a good job. So it was a very tough.
Sounds so, no offense, stupid when you say it.
It sounds so dumb. Like,
I know, I even say it's, yeah, I'm just
it sounds so dumb. And I'm glad that I went through that and I still decided to quit and then had that experience of nobody leaving me to, anyways. But
weren't to sound.
Not for that. No, I'm just kidding. Not ever. Yeah, so actually quitting, I like typed out my letter of resignation and I was having, like, it was very stressful. Like, I was like, they're screwed without me, which is always so funny when you're at a super stressful job. Oh, they're going to be screwed without me.
Yeah.
No, they're not. So I remember I like typed out my email. I had my letter of resignation and Josh was sitting beside me and I was like, should I do it? I don't know. I'm panicking. Like, I don't know what to do. And he was like, do you want me to press send? And I was like, yeah, really? And then he pressed send.
Oh my gosh.
And he's like, you quit. And I'm like, I quit.
Was this like you were working from home? Was it COVID?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Well, it was COVID and it was kind of like a hybrid.
Right. Like, I'll quit on a day I'm at home.
I'm like, so I'm going to not have this conversation in person because that's not my style. We're going to break up over text.
Well, you also have to give a formal letter, don't you?
Yeah, you have to give a formal letter. Also, like, my boss... Anyways, we're not going to get into that. So, yeah, that was the actual quit.
Yeah.
And the craziest thing is my reason for quitting. I was like, it's not you. It's not you. It's not you. That's not this job. If I could stay here forever, because I love it so much, I would. It's so amazing here. And I wish this didn't happen. But I must go. I must move across the country to be closer to my family. I must. So no one could have controlled this.
So what came first, deciding to move or quitting the job and then being like, I need a reason to quit, so let's move? Kind of both.
Kind of happened together.
Okay.
Josh and I came out to visit here and he was like, what are we doing? Like, why are we in Ontario? This is so dumb. Ontario sucks. I mean, there's good parts, but and then I was like, well, I'm not doing this anymore. And he was like, yeah, he wasn't really feeling his job. And then we were kind of like, let's just do it.
Yeah.
And the first step was me quitting. Because I had to give a month's notice. So that was that. And the really funny thing is that leading up to that, so like my boss got transferred to another plant and then I was there and like they never refilled my role. And like through COVID, they got rid of the junior accountant. So already we were down a role. And then when my boss left, it was me doing the role of like all of the like accounting work other than like AP, payroll, like all that.
Yeah. So we're doing like 3 roles kind of?
It was like junior accountant, assistant controller, and controller.
3.
So, but they were like, oh, you guys have done, anyways. So I was like, I will take the promotion, but like, I'm going to need help. Like, I cannot do all of this by myself. Also, through COVID, especially the automotive industry, that was hit really hard. Yeah, your numbers are down and the reporting is up. Yeah. Like, the shareholders want to know everything. Senior management, corporate, they want to know everything. There's more reporting, there's more scrutiny, like there's more everything for like an accounting department.
Yeah. It's not like you get less work. You tend to get more work when there's actually a recession.
Way more work. So I was like,
they actually care about the numbers a lot more.
Yeah. When things are good, people don't really care. When things are bad, they care a lot.
Yeah.
So I was like, I will need support. Like, I'll need this position filled. Like, I will not be able to do this by myself. Like, there's no way. Like, even before my boss left, I was like approaching burnout.
Yeah.
So then they were like, 100%, we want you to succeed. We want blah, blah, blah. Like, we want your success, this and that. And so there was a guy I'm allowed to say this. Anyways, there was a guy in
another office,
Toronto.
Okay.
Who was at like the corporate level.
Yeah.
And they were like, we're going to get him to help you until we can like find a permanent replacement. Because we were like a few hours from Toronto.
Right.
And I was like, okay, great. And then he was like, nah, I don't really want to leave like Toronto. Like, I like the city. Like, I don't really want to go up there. Like, I don't really want to help. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just go fuck myself. Thank you so much. Oh my God, this has been really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is good. So then I just never got help. And it like wasn't a priority. People from corporate didn't want to like help part-time or like in the interim. And then it was so funny because when I quit, they forced him to move up north.
Oh no.
I was like, wow, if you would have just helped me, maybe we wouldn't be in this pickle. We probably would have, because I would have quit eventually. But
oh my goodness.
I was like, wow, that's really sucks for you. Also, when I did quit, because I'm such a people pleaser, not as much anymore, but because I was such a people pleaser, they were like, oh my God, well, like, would you be willing to work like part-time to like train this guy and to like help in like the shift while like you're moving to BC? And I was like, yeah,
love to.
Duh.
That's nice of you.
I would literally love to. So I like worked part-time for like quite a few months, like while we like got the house ready like to sell, while moving out here, and then like a little bit after we came out here.
Oh my God. Fun.
Yeah. What was your quitting day like?
Just because you felt like you had to?
Yeah. I mean, like, it was nice to have like a little bit of income, like throughout the move.
True. That'd be good.
But it was mostly because I had a huge fear of disappointing people that I'm working on.
Yeah. Anyways. That's fair enough. That's hard.
It is hard. How was your quitting day? What was that like?
The actual day of quitting, I don't think was that exciting. There was like a day leading up to it where I think I had a full-on mental breakdown. I don't know really what makes something a mental breakdown, but it felt like that to me.
What were the feelings? What was happening? Walk us through.
I think I just got to a point where I was just like, I can't, like, I felt so trapped. I was like, I can't stay because, firstly, I felt like I was sucking at my job. Like, not only was I scared to leave, but I was like so overwhelmed with work. And part of that was like because of it was like the start of 2021. But like they'd done a full year of hiring freezes. They had laid off a bunch of people. Mm-hmm. A bunch of people had like left or moved or quit or whatever. So we were super understaffed. And then like you're saying, like no one was like, oh, I got an audit before COVID and now I don't need one. Like everyone still needed the same stuff.
Yeah, if anything, probably more, because probably people were needing like loans, people were needing whatever, banks, like things were tight.
And the only thing that got more complicated is like before, when we audited companies, we would go to the company and we just sit there for a week. You're 100% focused on that one company. You knock it out. You're with your team. You go home. Or 2 weeks or whatever it was. Now I was like sitting in my kitchen by myself trying to like communicate on Teams or something with the other people on my team, trying to get the client to like scan and send documents. So like before we would just show up and do it ourselves. Now they have to go find the shit, scan it, send it to, like explain it over email or the phone. Like it was just so much harder, so much more complicated. So everything was harder. A lot of deadlines got pushed because the government was like trying to give people more time. But then it just made it so like all the deadlines were like weirdly all overlapping, because before it was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just so much. And I remember one day writing out a list of all the projects I was on, and I just moved up a role. Like I just had gotten promoted, so I was kind of in like a new role
with like different responsibilities.
Yeah, so it was like already harder, and then now I was like responsible for a team, or like on every file you'd have different team members, but you're like responsible for them, which was a whole new challenge because I hadn't done that before really.
And then virtually too is hard.
And then there's people on your team that you're like they're also feeling the same way, and then you're like, I don't know if they're working, like if they don't know the answer, like they feel weird, you know, like it's just it was just horrible. So it just made it really hard to actually get work done. And then because of COVID, it's like they almost realized things could be virtual. Like, so I was like getting also like work from like Vancouver and like all these other offices.
Right.
And like ideally they were supposed to like spread it out across everywhere to like make it so people's workflow, like to spread it out. But I don't know, like I just was getting even more files than before. Because like before it was like, this is our Kelowna the office in Kelowna. When we're busy, we're busy. When we're not as busy, we're not as busy. But it was just like now they had this capacity to make everyone 100% busy all the time. There was no like downtime ever. It was really weird. Anyways, so I remember writing it one time, and I wrote a list, and I think I was on like 14 projects all at once. Like as of that day, I was like, I'm on these 14 things today. Yeah. I have these 14 projects I should be working on today. And it was like, it was so insanely overwhelming that it wasn't even like, oh, you know, if I could just get a couple more hours in the day, I could catch up. It was like, I'm already working. Like you were saying, like wake up, work till I fall asleep, essentially. And then it wasn't even like, I was like, if I had double or triple the time, I couldn't do this. So it just felt like it almost like it
was
felt
defeated.
Like, yeah,
you're
defeated.
Like, there's literally no hope in being successful.
And it's not like I just like kept that to myself. Like I talked to a lot of different people being like, hey, like this isn't feasible. What should I prioritize? And they were just like, they were all in the exact same place. Yeah. So they couldn't help me. They were like trying to deal with their own shit. And they were like, just try to delegate more. And I was like, okay, thanks.
You're like, who am I going to delegate to? You?
And who would I delegate to?
Everyone's plate's full.
Yeah. So
are we hiring? I didn't think so.
Yeah. So I get why. And then the company had their like best year ever that year.
And is that when you all got the salary cut?
Yeah, that was a whole other thing.
Wow, no wonder their profit was so good.
It was so good. They made so much money. Anyway, so that day,
so good.
Yeah, so that day I remember I was just bawling. Like I just started crying. And then I decided to take a bath, and I was in my bathtub, and I was like teamsing one of the guys I work with, and he was a manager, or he was above me. So he was one of my. And
you were teamsing your manager in the bath.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so it sounds bad. Crying.
Let's get more or less detail.
Okay, sorry. Okay. Anyways,
not a video call.
Not a video call. No, just like typing, texting essentially, but over Teams.
Okay.
And I was just saying, like, I was like, I'm not good. Like, I'm not okay. Like, I can't focus. I can't get stuff done. I have way too much to do. I don't know what to do first. Everyone like, and that's another thing at a public firm. Like, you're not working for one boss. You're working for like I could be on 14 projects and have 14 bosses, you know, who are all like have conflicting deadlines and need stuff from you.
That's tough. Do they like have, just because I've never worked in public practice, do they almost have like a priority schedule amongst all of the projects everywhere? Or is it actually like competing?
So what they had when I was there, and it was like kind of a new thing, they had like a scheduling person. So it would like essentially show everyone's schedule, and they would like slot in projects.
Okay.
But the problem is they would slot in projects based on like the hours charged on the file last year. And people were already like, you know, there's so much pressure to perform in a certain amount of time and be so productive that people would like eat hours. They would just like not put them all in, or like someone really good might have done the file last year really quickly. Yeah. And the same thing with audits. Like they would be like a planning day. So they'd schedule me in like an 8-hour planning day. And you're like, yeah, 8 hours to plan it might be realistic, but no one can plan it in one day because I'm trying to work with a client who I need to get stuff from. I have to send them the info. They have to send it. Like,
it's like hard 8 hours. When it is virtual because you're kind of at the mercy of your client. Whereas when it's in person, like your client books the day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when they don't book, they're kind of doing other stuff anyways. Yeah. And no one can get you something instantly anyway. So it's like, so I would be like, oh, I have an 8-hour day for this project, but it would end up being 8 hours over 2 weeks
Yeah.
or more with the client, like depending. And then there's some projects, like I had one project I was on and the client was just, some are great, but some are terrible. And one terrible one, it was just like, just destroyed my schedule because it was just so much follow-up. So like, so things like that.
And it just throws everything off.
Yeah. And then there was no one to like reassign things to or like move things because we were so understaffed. But yeah. So it was just like a recipe for disaster. Anyway, so I was messaging and I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like my life, like this, like what do I do? Like I don't, like almost asking for advice. And then his response was more like, I know it's so overwhelming. I've realized I'm not in a relationship. I don't have any friends except for the people I work with. I don't know what I'm doing. Like he was spiraling. Like he was
You're like, you're supposed to be my sounding board.
Yeah. But he was like in a place that I was like, oh my God, this guy's worse than, like way worse than me.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
And I think I just realized like, okay, just because he's above me doesn't mean he's got it figured out. And just because like, and then it kind of also made me be like, oh, his role is the role I'm like striving for and he hates his life. And then after that, there's like this other role and I know a bunch of them hate their life. So I was just like, what is my goal here? What am I trying to get to?
Yeah.
Anyway, so then basically I went to my sister's house and I was just like, I'm having a mental breakdown.
Aww.
And then her husband has a business and he was like, I need some help with my accounting. Just so like
chill.
I could use some help with my accounting. You can work for me. I was like, I literally will quit tomorrow if you are serious.
You're like, sold.
Yeah. And that's the other thing with public practice is they pay for all your schooling, but then you work it off.
Right.
So it's just like another.
Work it off?
We don't work it off, but like.
Or is it like a 2-year or like 5-year?
Yeah. I think it was 2 years. But it was 2 years from when you like incurred the cost or like wrote the. So like I had to work there like a full 2 years after writing my CPA exam to like work off. Which I kind of get.
So did you?
No.
Oh.
But that's the thing. Like when I left, I had to give them $7,000.
You did?
Yeah. I'd be like, I'm going to leave. Remember how you pay me like $38,000 a year? Here's $7,000 so I can go. Isn't that crazy? But they made that part of like my starting bonus for my new job. Which is the other reason why I felt like I could leave. Because otherwise I'm like, I don't have $7,000 right now.
No, how can you save $7,000 when you're making $38,000? That's not even, that's not minimum wage.
$38,000?
Yeah.
Or maybe it was 42.
Okay.
Not to brag.
42.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
And how long were you there?
4 years, 5 years?
After 5 years, you're making $42,000.
That
should not be legal for a professional.
I might have just gotten a raise, but I like left before it like kicked in. But yeah.
Okay, either way, you were making below a living wage, especially for having a professional designation, and then you were asked to pay.
Yeah.
How far away were you from the 2-year mark?
I think it was a year.
Oh, that's pretty far.
Yeah. No, I wasn't even a year. That's not true because I just wrote.
It was just after you wrote. CPA.
Yeah, I wrote in September and I left in February.
Oh.
Yeah. I remember I got 2 weeks off at Christmas because they were like this. I don't know if they knew that I wasn't doing good or what, but they were just like, you're getting these 2 weeks off or something. And I remember being like, oh, I'll just take these 2 weeks off and then I'll come back and I'll be better.
Yeah.
And I was like weirdly worse when I came back because it would like, I don't know why I made it worse.
Yeah.
But it did. Anyways.
Probably because your nervous system finally got a chance to like go down a little bit and then it's just right back up.
Exactly. But what can you do?
So you had to pay $7,000 on your exit.
Yeah.
So was it all of your like CPA courses and modules and stuff?
I think it was just like the final year of them.
Okay.
So like the other first year ones had worked off. I don't really know. I don't know the math of it, but yeah. Okay. What's one thing you'd tell your corporate self now? And do you have any takeaways or advice for someone where you were?
Just leave.
Okay.
No job is worth your health. Also, like, okay, maybe this is more what I would tell myself. Yeah. Maybe it's not for everyone, but for me, like, your job is such a tiny, tiny little insignificant part of your life, like the grand scheme of life, that it's like not that important. Like, you can get a job anywhere,
Mhm.
but you only have your family. Like, I know technically you could get more friends, you could whatever, but like
Yeah.
the people in your life and the quality of your life are 1,000 times more important than a job or a title.
But what about this like idea that you like need to work hard to like make it, or like?
I think maybe back in the day that was true, but now with technology, social media, like there's so many avenues to make money, and I'm not saying these people don't like work really hard.
They work so hard.
We have a dog as a producer, so he's letting us know that there's a security breach.
Good job.
I think now there's so many avenues to make money, and it's still a lot of work, but I don't think that it's the same like, Murphy, go away. Oh, but he's so cute. I can't.
Like you don't need to. You can find ways to make money and be successful and feel fulfilled without selling your soul.
And still have a life and still enjoy your life without selling your soul.
If it's like a priority.
Yeah. I think there's like now there's so many ways you can make money. I don't think you need to like literally give your firstborn child in order to like be successful. But
yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think one thing I would tell myself is like, nobody cares about this and nobody really cares about you, and like not in a mean way, but I remember being there. I like was talking to someone not in the accounting world, and I said something about like CPA, or this was because when I was there I was like getting my CPA. This is why I was like all the other people there obviously had it, but and they were like, oh, what's CPA? And I remember just being like it's like someone slapped me in the face, and I was like, oh my God, there's people out there that don't even know what this is. And I'm like, it's like to me the most important thing in the whole
You're like, I'm a CPA.
World.
And they're like, what is that? That happened to me too.
Yeah. And then I'm just like, oh. But like when you're surrounded by it, and it's the most important thing. Also, like when you're at a public, well, I don't know if this is all of them, but at mine, you'd go through the schooling in cohorts. And then so every single person at the firm would know when you guys are writing an exam.
It's kind of like competition. Not competition, but it's like this whole group did the exact same thing as you. And like, like, did you keep up or like, did you fall behind or like?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so when you write the exam, whatever, everyone would know. And then the exam results always came out on the like at a certain time on a certain day, whatever.
Yeah.
And they would always send out an email congratulating the people who passed. But it's pretty fucking easy to deduce, oh, we know these 5 people wrote. And in the email it says congratulations to these 4 people. Like clearly this one person didn't pass. So it was like extra pressure always.
Yeah.
And like, yeah.
Because I had that pressure, but I was the only one writing.
Yeah, so no one cared as much.
But everyone knew.
Oh.
Because everyone's like, because I didn't get a lot of time off like a lot of people did. I literally I like worked a deal with my work where I would work like all of my hours Monday to Thursday and then get Fridays off of the summer. That's it. That's all that I got.
To study?
Yeah.
Ew.
And so everyone at work knew because I was never
so
there.
Smart.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but I do work well under pressure. Too much time is probably not good.
Yeah.
So everyone at work knew. So then after my exam, and when you write the CFE, you're like, I have no idea how I did.
No, you don't.
I was like, I could have passed, I could have failed. No idea.
Yeah.
And so
because the way it's structured, like
then everyone's coming up to me, oh, how's your exam? And then they all knew when it was coming out. So like everyone would stop by my desk. Did you pass? Did you pass? Thank God I did. Yeah. I was like, that was so embarrassing.
I know. And I think that's why like same thing. Like there was like the day we got our results, there was like a call and like
I feel like it's 100 times worse for you because like it's like your whole company is that.
I literally had so much anxiety about checking. Like I think the results, I can't remember. They came out at like 7 a.m. or something.
I think they were 9 a.m. Ontario time. So yeah, they were probably like
or 6 a.m. or something. Yeah. And I was super hungover because we went out drinking the night before. But then I was just like, my phone died because I hadn't, like, this is so typical me. Like, my phone fucking died.
I think subconsciously you didn't want to check your results.
Oh, no, I didn't. And so I remember I woke up at like 7, so like ready an hour late because I was like fucking wasted. I think I like threw up in my bed that night or something. It was so gross, like something terrible.
One for the books.
Anyways, so then I again was taking a bath. What is going on? I think I use baths as like my coping mechanism.
Yeah, they're very
sometimes.
peaceful.
Yeah, anyways, and then I just like sat there, and then Anthony woke up and he like knew how to check the results.
He's like, babe, there's puke in the bed.
I don't know.
What are you
doing?
doing?
Like down the side again. It was so disgusting. And I was just like laying there in a towel on the couch. Wow, this is so depressing. I haven't thought about this in a long time. And he like, so he knew how to check the results because they're like public. You just need like your number to check them.
You can search your name, I'm pretty sure. Can't you?
I don't think we could. Or it's just had a list of numbers in BC. That's a different
maybe
thing.
it's the next day that you can search, because you can search up who. I'm pretty sure you can search. Anyways,
ours
doesn't
was
matter.
just a list of numbers you'd get on the day. Anyways, I don't remember. Maybe it wasn't. Anyways, he somehow looked, and he just came in. He was like, "You passed." And then I was just like, I was like, "How do you know?" He's like, "Because I went on the thing, I clicked this, searched your number, and it was on there."
He knew that.
And
it
I was
gonna
like,
be tough
"Are
for
you lying?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "Are you joking?" He's like, "I would never joke about this." I was like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Yeah, you passed." I'm like,
can you imagine? He's like, April Fools.
It's like, just kidding. You didn't.
He's like, you didn't. I was just joshing. You failed.
You failed, you stupid bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was just like, oh. But then I didn't feel. And then, you know what's the most fucked up thing? As soon as I found out I passed, maybe not that day because I was like destroyed, but I like literally started searching for things to do after. I was like, what do people get after CPA? Should I get a MBA? Should I do the like CBV? Should I do that? Like, I couldn't stop. I was like, oh, I got this thing that I've been trying to get for like 6 years, 8 years, whatever it is. And I feel literally awful.
Don't feel better.
Don't feel better at all.
I can put the letters behind my name, but it's
now
not
I better get the next new thing.
doing it.
And I remember just like Googling, like, should I get this? Should I get that? Should I get this designation? Should I get that? Which is kind of fucked.
Yeah.
Like, it was like the next day.
Well, I feel like a lot of people, myself included, they're constantly like looking for the next thing. Like, it's really hard in today's day and age to just like be present and just be like, I know this sounds like super lame, but just be like appreciative, like be very grateful for where you currently are.
Yeah.
Like people are just like always striving for like the next milestone, and then they get to the milestone and they realize it doesn't like fulfill you or whatever, and then they're just like, well, maybe the next one, and then it's just like you're constantly just like searching for this feeling.
And that's why I think it's important to like obviously there's days you work really hard or like push or like have a goal, but you shouldn't like hate most of your life with like some promise of like getting to something and not hating your life anymore, because it does not work like that.
But it's
really hard to learn. You still
my
don't.
Pet peeve
is hating my life.
Is being depressed. No, I'm just kidding. Is okay, more like when I was going through a really stressful time at that previous job, and people, more the older generation, were kind of like, that's just what it is. Like, you're just supposed to hate your job. You're just supposed to hate your life. Like, they don't call it work for nothing. Like, they don't call it work if it was supposed to be fun. And it's just so normalized to hate 5 out of the 7, if you're lucky enough to only work 5 days a week, to hate 5 out of the 7 days of your life from like the age 16 to like 64, 65. Like, how is this normal?
And then have like Sunday scaries.
Ugh. And then also like after work, it's not like you're like doing a lot. Well, most people, like, it's like you make dinner, you relax, you go to bed, you maybe take a bath, and then you wake up and you do it all over again, or you go to the gym. It's not like you're doing things like for you. I don't know. I just think it's so toxic that people are like, it's normal to hate your job and you can have fun when you retire. And I'm like, well, hopefully I'm alive by the time I retire. Yeah. So that's dumb. Also, you hear of so many people who are like, yeah, they retired and like a month later they passed. For whatever reason.
Mhm.
But I'm like, they were waiting their whole lives for that freedom.
Mhm.
They were waiting their whole lives to take that trip, to do that thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, life is way too short to literally hate. I can't do mental math. 5 out of 7.
5/7?
Yeah.
To hate 5/7 of it.
To hate 5/7 of your life. God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
I don't know. I just think,
It is way too short.
and I won't do it. I'm not going to hate 5 out of 7 days of my week
No.
because I did it, and fuck that.
You actually end up hating like 7 out of 7 because you can't really enjoy the other stuff. That's where I got to, at least. I couldn't even disconnect ever.
No, because then even the weekend, it's like, okay, well, now I need to catch up on all the goddamn housework.
Yeah.
And now we created a job that we love.
Well, there we go. Oh my goodness. Well, I feel like we did cover the first, what were we calling it?
This was almost like the prequel to the journey.
The prequel to the journey.
Right?
Prequel. Yeah. Exactly.
It's
kind of interesting to remember where you're at. Because I don't think about it that much anymore.
I try not to think about it,
Yeah.
but it does make me more grateful for
the present
and kind of like the direction we're going and
the
work that we've created.
Yeah. And hopefully eventually helping other people leave.
Yeah.
If they want. If you love it, stay.
Other people leave, or even helping them in their like current business.
Yeah. Or just like opening your eyes to be like, look, there's so many options. You're not stuck here, but I felt so stuck.
Yeah. Just the feeling of like being stuck or like not having like control over your own life.
And you're like, I was like in my 20s still.
Yeah.
You're like, it's so crazy in hindsight, but that's how I felt.
Yeah. You're like, oh my God, I've wasted so many years. Like, you're still a fetus. Like, you're 24? Like, chill. You're okay.
Relax.
You could literally start over right now and you'd still be young by the time you finish. Like, it's fine.
Just run away. I would always just be like, worst case, I'll just run away.
Well, that's what I did.
Yeah, you actually ran away.
It turned out actually pretty good.
Yeah, you're like, I have to go.
Gotta go.
Well, thanks for joining us. Listening to our sob stories.
Yeah, I think they're going to be more positive from now on. We had to, we had to explain our roots.
Explain the roots.
And
remember for ourselves.
Yeah.
It can be very cathartic.
Diary. Yeah, and then hopefully
I don't know how to end.
They're going to be positive from now.
That's still positive.
How do you end? This is like trying to get off the phone with someone that you want to get off the phone with.
You're not good at that.
I don't know how to be better.
Sometimes I listen to you on the phone. You're like, well, yep.
I thought saying, well, I thought that was like the international sign for like the conversation was done.
Yeah.
How do people get off the phone?
I don't know. I never answer my phone. I literally don't answer it.
I know, but even when you're on the phone, if you call it, like, how are you doing this? Because I cannot get off the phone.
I like to put it on them. Like, well, I'll let you go. Well, don't waste too much more of your time.
What if they're like, no, I got tons of... Anyways, whatever.
I really don't.
It's something I need to work on. So maybe this will be a video diary of my
Okay, so you can practice.
Progress.
You can end it.
Well.
See you next week.
Well,
thanks for listening.
Well, better get to it.
Better get to it.
Well, I will leave you with that. Toodaloo.
Bye.